Hello everyone, welcome to the Boot Room. Andy, Warren and Stuart Watson here. We are back after the international break. Club football's back, and Ipswich are going to Accrington, back to the scene of the crime of January's FA Cup humbling. You excited?
Less excited because of the fact it's a 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday and it's a long old journey, so I salute all of you that are making the journey to the Wham Stadium.
Wham!
Insert your own puns here. It's a good opportunity for Ipswich to put to bed a couple of unwanted stats, rubbish on Sky or on television, and generally have been rubbish after international breaks. 20 games without a win off the back of international action. So hopefully they can put those to bed, because Accrington struggling a little bit at the start of this season, aren't they?
Very much so. I think they're just outside the bottom three, aren't they?
Yeah.
One win since August. They're for the taking, really, but it doesn't always work out like that. Hopefully it will for Ipswich this time.
What's your team, my friend?
Team, complicated a little bit by injury. Started the season with loads of injuries, but Ipswich have generally been lucky-ish with new ones until now, but doubts overcame Vincent Young, James Norwood and Flynn Downs, and that's affected the team that I think will be played and what I would probably name for the weekend. I think Vincent Young's the most likely of those to play, so Holy in goal, Vincent Young in at right back, James Wilson suspended as well, must remember that. So I would probably stick with the back three, back five, and go with Wolfenden, Chambers, and perhaps a little grudgingly, because I'm not sure he's quite ready yet, Toto and Ciala. That means Luke Garbett at left wing back. The reason I'd go Toto rather than dropping Cole Skews in there is that I'm not sure Flynn Downs is going to make it, so I'd go Skews in there with Emir Hughes, and then Nolan behind Jackson, and I think Will Keane, because if James Norwood's still feeling a little bit tender after surgery, I'm not sure he needs to be pushed just yet. What are you saying?
Similar-ish. I certainly wouldn't be taking unnecessary risks on any of those aforementioned players, because it's a busy old schedule coming up now. 8, potentially 9 games in the next 38 days. So I'm taking no risks on Vincent Young, Downs or Norwood. Obviously we don't know behind the scenes where they're at, but if there's any doubt, don't play them. Give them an extra few days. So my team would be thus: Holy in goal, Chambers, Wolfenden, and I'm not going to play Toto. I am going to play Skews in that back three, and the reason why is I'm going to do this in midfield. Edwards, right wing back. Not convinced about him as a right wing back. Garbett on the left. Nolan and Hughes. Hughes, I thought, looked like he's back at it from that trophy game 10 days or so ago. And then I'm going to play more of a front three. Jackson in the middle with sort of Judge and Rowe either side of him. So it's more of a 3-4-3 formation, this. And then if you need to tweak it within the game, if you need to push Skews into midfield, you could bring Toto on for one of the forward players, drop him in there, just solidify him a little bit. But I think, just have a little go at Accrington and go with that. That's what I'd be going for.
Interesting. I like it. We'll see.
Key talking points. I'm just going to chuck a couple of bits out there, really. How can Ipswich cope without some of these players? Wilson's been very good, suspended. Worries me slightly that they don't have a left footer in that back three. Miss a bit of balance there. If Vincent Young isn't fit, is Gwion Edwards really a right wing back? Will he defensively be able to do that part of the game? And then with no Norwood up front potentially, they do lack a bit of presence and physicality up top, and if it's Judge or Rowe or whoever else up front alongside Jackson, can they keep the ball on the floor and can they play better football than Accrington? Those all come into the mix with potential absentees. Downs as well, is there enough tenacity in midfield? These are all things that they're going to have to overcome if those players aren't available.
Can we just talk about right wing back a little bit before I get on to my point?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite telling, isn't it, that we're talking about Gwion Edwards being the natural guy to come in there rather than Janoy Donatian. That does feel like that's the way it probably is, but that's not great for Janoy, is it?
No, I'm returning to Accrington as well, but that's where we're at now.
That's the way it is. I'm looking forward to seeing the Accrington striker Colby Bishop, who signed for them in the summer from non-league. Played for Leamington, Worcester, Gloucester. Bit of a low non-league goal machine, and he started quite well, I think, with four in his first 5 or something like that for for Accrington. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's had a bit of a similar career path to James Norwood in that to that degree. He's good in the air. He's the kind of striker that Ipswich didn't really cope with well last season. Taking over from Billy Key, who's sadly not able to be playing football at the moment. Hopefully he gets well soon, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do and also how Ipswich cope with him. Prediction time, Stu. Will Ipswich right the wrongs?
Spoiler alert, yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Accrington score goals. I think they've scored in all of their home games so far this season, but they've struggled defensively as well. Their recent 1-0 win against Southend was their first clean sheet since January. So I trust Ipswich's firepower, even if Norwood's not available. 2-1 Ipswich.
2-0, another clean sheet.